Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for more dedicated legacy action. Today we are trying a little experiment. We are playing a lands deck with the One Ring in. So it's kind of my opinion really that if you can play the One Ring in your deck reliably, you should probably be playing it. It's just a very powerful card that wins the game quite quickly on its own. And lands obviously ends up with quite a lot of mana between expiration, a bunch of lands going into play. We've got Mox Diamonds as well. We should be casting the One Ring pretty easily. So let's put it in the lands deck and see how it feels. Another reason I like the One Ring in the lands deck is against Blood Moon, you have a spell that you can actually cast that can dig you towards your answers to Blood Moon. And it's a non-graveyard based engine. So we don't have to worry about our graveyard getting cut off and Life from the Loam not working. We can just keep One Ring in our whole bunch. So that's what I've done. I've stuck some One Rings. I chose this sort of teamer-ish build. We're saying teamer, it's got some blue spells in the sideboard and Otawara. That's been doing well in a few challenges and stuff lately, rather than the green-white build, which runs the Sphere of Resistance, because I think Sphere of Resistance and a 4-drop doesn't really combo well, so I went for this different shell to put it in. So, what is a lands deck, for those who are unfamiliar? Well, as you can probably imagine, we're trying to leverage all the busted lands that are in Legacy. So we've got Maze of Ith to stop stuff from attacking us. We've got Tabernacles, so have to pay for all their guys, and we can Wasteland them so they can't pay anymore. We've got win conditions in Urza's Saga and Thespian stage Dark Depths. We've got loads of utility lands like Karakas, Otawara, Boseiju, Bojuka Bog, Blast Zone. And this is running 3 Grow with the Burnwillows to keep rebuying these Punishing Fires. So we can just have this as repeatable removal, which makes a lot of sense as well. So that's what this deck's trying to do. And in order to make that work, we have the Life from the Loam so we can keep buying back the stuff we want. Exploration so we can keep playing multiple lands. And Crop Rotation to find the specific lands we need. And the rest of the deck is taken up by an Urza Saga package of Mox Diamonds. So Mox Diamonds helps us power out some stuff early doors. And then we have a Soul Guide Lantern to mess with our opponent's graveyard. Shadowspear so we can actually gain some life back on our constructs, because we might be using our life total as a resource in numerous ways, especially since we've added the One Ring to the deck. Pithing Needle, just a nice way of hosing some certain things that we can get off of our Urza Saga. And we've got an Expedition map, so we can just find another land we want and keep the Saga train running, or find a piece of a combo or whatever. There is one other card that I've added in here, which is Zuran Orb. This is the 61st card of our deck. I couldn't quite figure out what to cut, so I thought we could just have this. Because we have tutor packages, playing 61 cards isn't that wild. You see it quite commonly in Green-White Depths style strategies. And anything Green Sun Zenith, you might see 61 cards in as well. So Zuran Orb here, you sacrifice a land, gain 2 life. This just gives us a little bit more wiggle room to gain some life, which might be useful when we've added in the life loss of the One Ring here. So this is just kind of another way that we can bridge the gap. If we need life and we're in a Shadowspear situation, but we have no Urza Saga, then this can just get us the land we need, the life we need by using lands. So we can just keep life from loaming back stuff. And the idea here is, because the One Ring is drawing us extra cards, what lands normally ends up doing is you end up in a situation where you're just dredging life from loam every turn. You don't get to see new cards, so you never get to make additional explorations or any explorations. Whereas having the One Ring as our engine means that we can draw copies of Exploration and just start deploying these and just be able to play loads and loads of lands. And then once we start Zuran Orbing and Life from the Loam, we can be gaining like a bunch of life every turn cycle and just keep the aggro decks at bay. That's the idea. I think the One Ring should be at least tested in lands. It's amazing to me that people aren't running this and they're still running things like Sylvan Library, when I think the One Ring is just a much more powerful card that is just better. So this is what we're going for. Sideboard-wise, we've got a little bit more hate for the graveyard in the Surgicals and the Cage. We've got some ways of blowing up some Blood Moons with this Force of Vigor. We've got Blue Blast, which can blow up Blood Moons as well. We've got Pyroblast, which can blow up Harbinger of the Seas. You're seeing a pattern here, aren't you? We've got some Consigned to Memories. There's a bunch of scary things. This can be good against Storm decks as well. And we've got Kozilek's Return, just to sweep out some more creatures. Now, I'm a little bit worried about playing this many colours in the deck. We have 1 Tropical Island and 4 Mox Diamond. That is our blue sources. We also have the Otawara, but this is something that wants us to use blue sources to cast it. So I'm not entirely sure about the mana base on this one. I think maybe a better build of this would be a green-white one, but I'd have to do a lot more finagling to work out. I guess I could just strip out the Sphere of Resistance and put in 4 copies of the One Ring. Maybe that's an option. But I want to try this one because back in the day when I used to play lands and actually own my own Tabernacle, I used to play a good old-fashioned Punishing Fires build. And if this has been doing well for a little while, I'd like to see it in practice, because I do like this card. It's a cool combo, and it's important to play things you enjoy at the end of the day. Okay, that's pretty much it for the deck tech. So please remember to like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 5k subs by my birthday in April, so why not help me hit that? And let's get stuck in with some One Ring lands. Alright, we have Exploration and Life from Loam. That's not a bad place to start, so let's keep this one. Misty Rainforest. What flavour of Misty Rainforest are we looking at? I would like to go and get a basic forest, I think. Just set ourselves up in a comfortable position with a basic while we're here. Let's get an Exploration down. I would not like this to be days, but it sets our opponent back if they do. Once Upon a Time. Okay, so we might be looking at Nardu here. Wow, did they swing and miss there? That's not what they wanted, is it? I will play out this Grove of the Burnwillows so we have access to our crop rotation if we need it in an emergency. So, like, I'm not expecting us to need an emergency if they're playing Once Upon a Time, but you never know. It's probably going to be a hedge maze, I would suspect. That's usually... Oh, Undercity Sewers, okay. Once Upon a Time into Undercity Sewers. Not really sure what's going on over there now. Could be Hogak? Been a hot minute since I've seen a Hogak deck, but this would kind of work with that. Okay, we got some red mana as well, and some green mana. Not entirely sure what's happening. Which is cool. I like to have a bit of a surprise. Okay, let's get this Mox Diamond in. And we'll Life from the Loam back these two lands. Leaving up our basic land. If I knew what our opponent was doing, I could try and Pithing Needle and get like a nice guess going, but I just don't know. Play these two lands. So we could go and get a crop rotation going to start our Urza Saga doing stuff. I just need a little bit more information on what's happening over here. This could be the... Oh, okay, it's the Cascade deck. I see. Okay. So they cascade into Living Death or Rhinos? I think it's Living Death because they've got the cycling creatures. Yep, so that goes away. Okay, I understand what the deal is here. Here is the Bloodbraid Marauder. This is fine. Let's see what build they're on. If they're just putting Rhinos into play, okay. You can deal with Rhinos. Alright, let's go and surveil. Okay, I think we're going to dredge this Life from the Loam, see what we find. And there's a Saga is something. Okay. Get back. So we probably want to go and get a crop rotation first, don't we? So let's crop rotate away this Grove. I'm not sure how much counter magic these decks can play. It is possible we get hit by a Force of Will here. We did not. So I think we want the Maze of Ith here, is fine. And then we copy the Maze of Ith. No, we don't. We want to Life from the Loam first, don't we? Okay, so we can play out our Urza Saga. Play out our Grove of the Burnwillows. Then we can Thespian stage, copying the Maze of Ith. We could have just gone for a Marit Lage kill, but I think our opponent has things like Brazen Borrower in their deck, and I don't just want to go all in on a Dark Depths kill and just get blown out. They might also have Otawara in their deck. It's just not worth us doing it when we can take a little bit of damage here and then sort of stabilise with some Urza Saga constructs. Say no to the Rhinoceros. They're suspending a Crashing Footfalls. Sure. Let's have a Maze of Ith here. I think I will dredge this Life from Loam again. Okay, so we probably want to Windswept Heath first, just so we've got another card in our graveyard for our Life from Loam. Get back these lands. Deploy some lands. So now we have 2 mana to activate this, and then we have a little bit of other mana left over. So we can go Shadowspear. 1, 2. So this 2 mana makes a guy. We don't have 2 mana to equip it this turn though. But it's going to be a 1, 2, 3. So we play a Pithing Needle, it can be a 4. What would I name in this situation? I don't honestly know what we're supposed to name here. Maybe Colossal Sky Turtle? Okay, we'll try the Colossal Sky Turtle. But we can send both the Rhinos back, and then we can make an Urza Saga construct that can block the Bloodbraid Marauder. Next time we can make a construct and do some other stuff. An Orcish Bowmasters. Sure. That's good against our One Ring, but they haven't seen that yet. Crashing Footfalls is ticking down. We don't have to worry about that for a couple of turns. So we're going to take a little bit more damage this turn. Let's make a friend. Let's Maze a Rhino. Let's Maze another Rhino. Block this 3-1. We take 2 this turn. Next time we can get an expedition map. Rise. Return target creature card from your graveyard, and they're going to bounce our guy. Okay. I think I'll continue to dredge his life from Loam. A Wasteland and another Urza Saga. I will make a guy. What do we have left to tutor? We have the Soul Guide Lantern, which can take them off of having what they need here. We take the artifact and the creature out. So they got sorcery, sorcery, instant land. Okay. Loan back 3 lands. Force of Will on our life from Loam. Oakley dokley. I guess we will be equipping our friend here. A couple of lands. These don't actually do anything. I don't think we have any more fetchables left. Am I attacking and just getting the guaranteed 6 life in? I think so. Actually, no, we can't attack this turn, right? It's summoning sick. The other one got rid of. I think we would attack there if we could. And then we could maze it after we've gained 6 life and then have a 6 power lifelinker on blocks. If our opponent puts another card in the graveyard, we can just crack the Soul Guide Lantern. So spending another footfalls. At some point we'll find the Tabernacle. We've got another Rise and Fall, a Bloodbraid Marauder. They only have 3 card types. This is just a 3-1 right now. We're not going to sacrifice this. The extra power on our guy is really good. Are they going to attack into our massive guy? They're not. Let's life from the Loam again. Punishing Fire. I don't hate having that one. So you just start stripping away their guys here. I would like to get back Wasteland, Saga, and Blast Zone, I think. We should be able to put this one together now. We just need to make sure we do it with enough time to spare. These little spikes of lag are not helping us. Okay, so we can attack with this guy. I think it's step 1 here. So now we'll untap our guy after we've dealt the damage. And then get our Urza Saga down, I think. If we do a Blast Zone on 2, that wipes out 2 of their guys. But we can just do that with Punishing Fire anyway. Just buy back this Punishing Fires. We will take away our opponent's mana here. So we can take them off of black. We can't take them off of red. We can't take them off of blue. We can take them off of green. Take them off of black here. And I'll play out an Urza Saga so we can start making some more guys. And then I'll Punishing Fire there 3-1. Okay. We don't have the Zoran Orb in the deck anymore. It's annoying. Because I would quite like to fetch that Zoran Orb so we can sacrifice these fetch lands. Right, they're cycling their Lorien Revealed. That's fine. At some point we find Tabernacle and then our opponent just gets crumbled. Rise. They're getting this guy back. They do get to bounce our guy here. But that's okay. Take 6, but this is just the life that we gained earlier. So cards like that is the reason why it's always worth getting the attack in. Let's dredge this life from the Loam. So we want to make a construct here. We want to life from the Loam, back some lands. I'll have a Saga, a Wasteland, a Grove. Finish Wasteland. Take our opponent off black. Play Saga, get one of those running. And now we can shoot down one of their guys. That costs us 3 mana. 1, 2, 3. So we can shoot down one of their guys, or we can equip the Shadowspear. I think I'm going to equip the Shadowspear. I think that's the higher upside here. We can still get the Punishing Fire back. We just can't fire it off because these 2 lands do nothing. So we have the biggest creature on the board. They're going to get some more creatures, but at some point we're going to find ourselves a Tabernacle. And at some point it's not going to matter when we're just making all these constructs. A life from the Loam. Getting back their Underground Sea. Okay. So we need to take out their green source for the next Wasteland. Understood. Don't believe they're attacking here. But let's get back this Punishing Fire. Dredge the Loam. Make a construct here. And we're going to get an expedition map. We will crack this expedition map. We'll go and get a Tabernacle. We'll play this Tabernacle. We'll life the Loam back some Wastelands. Alright, our opponent's scooping to that because what we're going to do is just going to Wasteland them off of green, Wasteland them off of black. They get 1 turn where they pay for a bunch of guys when they die, and they just get beaten down in 2 turns. Alright. A bit of a grind, but we got there. So, some kind of aggro-y type stuff. Players can't cast spells from libraries and graveyards. What is the text on Bloodbraid Marauder? Okay, so Cascade exiles the cards, then you cast them from exile. So that's not going to work. We could consign to memory some exile triggers. That's not that exciting to me. This deals with a lot of their smaller guys, but that's also not very exciting to me. We're not a Blood Moon deck. Honestly, do we need anything here? Deck's perfect, right? Maybe? I don't think we require any additional stuff. Let's move some of these over here just so I can see all the cards on our deck, shall we? Is there anything here that is bad? Like Karakas, I don't believe has any targets, but they might have like a Minsk and Boo pivot, so I probably want to keep it for that. Blue Blasts can counter some red spells, but we don't really care about the red spell. We care about what it does afterwards. I don't think we need to surgically extract anything from their graveyard. No, this can definitely mess with the amount of types, but I don't really want to be sat there with this bad card in hand at other times. No, I think deck's fine. Like, we're just very control-y. Seems like a good place to be. I like the double exploration. We're going to need to find an engine, but we've got 8 engines in our deck. Alright, I'll keep this. We can shut our opponent down a little bit with this Wasteland. We go and get ourselves a Taiga here. And play the exploration. Getting counterspelled. I would love to see them waste a counterspell on this one. They're trying to find one. Right now I'll play a Wasteland and I will take them off of some mana. Next turn we can Wasteland our opponent again if we want to. We need to find like a Loam. If we find a Loam, the game is over. There's a Wasteland. Okay, we're playing that game, are we? Okay. Alright. I love an absolute dirt game where nobody gets to do anything. I'm going to play 2 lands. Neither of them cast spells. What time to be alive? Alright. I'm enjoying the nonsense that's happening. For now, at least. Hitting the red source is important because they need the red source to get their rhinos up and running. Okay, I will play this one out. This will deploy our expedition map. Oh, they're just going to straight up force vigor us, pitching a Tarmogoyf. Sure. We get to continue to be in the dirt. Nice to see a Tarmogoyf, though. I think Tarmogoyf is underrated. Like, sure, it's not as good as it once was, but it still beats pretty hard. Like, people getting clapped by the size of a Barragoyf. Tarmogoyf is the same size. Alright, no red mana. So we're not getting hit with the Delirium spell. Oh dear, oh dear. This is not the one, is it? Sure, there you get the first threat. We do have the ability to only take 1 damage a turn, which is pretty good against our One Ring, though. Cycling those Architects. So untap the guy and pass. And okay, we take the 1 damage. Find a land. No, we can't. Our deck is, what, 34, 33 lands? Something like that? More than half our deck is lands. A weird game. Collect Oof. They saw the One Ring, as well as, like, the little bits and pieces that we have in our deck. Like the Expedition map and Shadowspear, that sort of jazz. But we have an answer for this anyway. We just need to draw some of the land in our deck. Oh my. What a game. Right, we fight back the Collector Oof. Life from the Loam. Well, that's something, isn't it? What are we doing here? Probably getting rid of the One Ring. We're furthest away from casting that one for now. Our opponent probably has counter spells. So we can't just fire off a crop rotation willy-nilly. We'd love to find like a Grave of the Burnwillows or something. A Pithing Needle. That is not the one we want right now. What do we get rid of? I think it's the Pithing Needle. We don't want to get rid of Punishing Fires in case it gets like dealt with in some way. We're probably just going to get beaten down by these very medium beats. A Wasteland. Okay, I'll play out this Expedition map. We'd love to draw a Yavimaya. I'm pretty sure we have one in our deck. Yeah, we have 1 Yavimaya in our deck. If we draw that, then all of a sudden we've got 4 green mana to play with. Force of Will. That's a weird one to Force of Will. Right, they have the Collector Oof in play. Once upon a time. What have you got for us? An Undercity Sewers. Not the most exciting. Hopefully they mill this off. They must have some amount of red spells over there. They milled off a Bayou, sure. We continue to take 2 every turn. A Blast Zone. Okay, we're starting to get somewhere. If we put 1 counter on this, we can blow up 2 of their threats, and then the Maze of Ith counters the other one. Not got the most amount of turns left, but we can definitely win this game. It's very winnable, for sure. Alright. Taking 2 damage again. They now have access to red mana, so they can put some rhinos into play. Certainly looks like they've got delirium over there. Artifact, creature, land, instant, sorcery, the whole shebang over there. There is their red source. Wouldn't mind a red source of our very own. We're now in a position where we can just draw Thespian stage and make a 2020, and maybe that wins the game. Or a green source, we could try and crop rotation. I suspect our opponent probably has some counter magic if they're not doing anything else, but we'll see. Alright, we're going to see some horrible friends. So what are we supposed to do about all this power? We can't draw the one ring effectively here. I think we're just dead, right? Take a quick draw step, it'll take a couple of seconds. Alright, that's not going to do it for us. Okay, that didn't go very well for us. We got Wastelanded when we're the Wasteland deck. Do I want to have this Kozilek's Return just to kill some more little guys? Maybe we do. We'll take out one copy of the One Ring. Just try that. So we have Punishing Fire combo. We need to draw some lands, but if we get them going, then we're kind of golden here. These Cascade decks don't run that many fetches. I think they have 6 fetches, and 4 of them are Polluted Delta. Kind of tempted to go for the Polluted Delta with the Pithing Needle here. Just jam our opponent up. Could name Wasteland, but I would like to use my own Wastelands at some point. Alright, let's go for this. See if we can get a little non-game out of this one. Verdant Catacombs. An Exploration. I will deploy the Exploration. We don't have another land though. Struggling to draw the lands in our lands deck. Bit of an awkward place to be. We can crop rotation. I don't really want to into the blue deck just yet. I like to crop rotate in a situation where it's not vital that it resolves necessarily. Like, if this gets countered, we're basically in the dirt not playing. Right, Pithing Needle not doing anything over here. Just the old 3-1. I will shoot this guy. Land, please. Give me a land. It's a land. I'll take it. Are we getting Force of Vigor again? Feels like it. Force of Vigor, pitching Uro, blowing up these two. In case they have any like Force of Negation, we can Punishing Fire on our opponent's turn. Delta. Aha. Got him. Okay. Can I have a life? We'll deal with all your life total later on. Force of Will. Sure. They've gone down to 0 cards. We can just pick up our Punishing Fire though. Do they have a plan for that? They do not. They're just on medium guy beatdown. Maze of Ith. Get back this Punishing Fire whilst we know they have nothing in hand. So we're going to be able to blow these up over the course of a few turns. We're only going to be taking 3 a turn because of the maze. Now they could have a Wasteland, they've shown us they have access to those. But I like our spot here. I'm not liking this lag that we're getting. We're a few minutes behind our opponent. An Otawara. I think this is a land. Again, we don't want to play into Force of Negation, so we're going to shoot this in our opponent's turn. I guess they could hard cast a Force of Negation here. Or maybe they... Actually, no, they can't because they can't crack this. Alright, there's a Wasteland. We have a crop rotation we can fire off to protect our Maze of Ith. They're going for this one, are they? Alright, they're just scooping it up. Good. Because we're going to kill their guys, and then we can just slowly drain our opponent out. It's going to take a while for us to get where we need to be there. But, okay, no, this is fine. Alright. 1-0, took a while, but let's go to match number 2. We've got a Loam. I like to have a Loam. Yeah, this might be a good hand to try out our new tech with the One Ring. Punch mulligan to 6. I think we probably play out the Boseiju. That way, if anything really busted happens, like Oops or Spells, we've got a Bojuka Bog ready to go. And if they Wasteland us, we can also crop rotate away. Would like to see some non-blue lands over there, maybe. Show us that you're a non-blue deck, so I can just happily use my crop rotations. Garden of Freyalise. Okay, there's only one deck that I know that plays this, and it's Oops All Spells. Understood. Okay. What are we drawing here? Oh god, that's such a terrible draw. That's such an awful draw. That's really frustrating, isn't it? Okay. We'll crop rotate this Karakas away. And we go and get a Wasteland here. This tells them that we have drawn the Bojuka Bog. Ah, why do we have to draw it? This game went from relatively in the bag to Possibly not winnable anymore. Jack-o'-lantern, sure. Punishing Fire, does that help here? What are we doing? We Bojuka Bog and then Wasteland again, I guess. Okay, now this might end up working out better for us. Maybe they had just a way of countering our crop rotation so it didn't matter. Ah, come on opponent. Why are you doing this? Right, they're exiling our Bojuka Bog, that's whatever. Oh, this is great. So we go Mox Diamond, pitch this, loan back our 2 Wastelands. I'll take the stage while I'm at it. And we deploy the Wasteland and we just keep hitting their mana. Now this doesn't matter, they have loads of fast mana, they can probably win off this Lotus Petal. But we're doing something. No land from our opponent here. I don't think we need to dredge out from Loam this turn. Expedition map. Do we have any cool lands for what we're doing here? I don't think we do. Right, let's play this Expedition map. Check out Wasteland. Should play out the Thespian stage really. To at least threaten a kill. Okay, we'll pass. We do have another Boseiju. We can go and get the Boseiju and blow this up. And just take our opponent off of mana completely. That is the current plan. Is it a good plan? Not really sure. It's the only one we've got though. So are we drawing a card this turn? We're going to fire this off. We're not loaming this turn, I don't think. So we go green, green. Get rid of this Lotus Petal. Leave up our Wasteland. And pass it over. We can only tread the water for so long. So this turn we're probably casting the One Ring. Or we're just going to make it 2020. Alright, we'll make it 2020. We could have dredged Life from Below that turn and brought it back. Actually, no, we couldn't. We can't cast it. Do we get there? Oh, wow! The perfect tableau there. Okay. Amazing that we managed to get that one. Surge Extraction, not very good graveyard hate against our opponent. But I'll take it. Graphics Cage does some things. Consigned Memory does some things. This is not a punching fire game, so they can get out. The One Ring's probably too slow, but they are a thing that can just let us draw a whole bunch of our cards and be okay. Probably don't need the Shadowspear or the Maze of Ith. Don't need the Karakas here. Oh, let's just move a bunch of lands to the other side so we can... That might have worked out better for us. If our opponent had Pact of Negation, they were sat on that whole game, then we might have played in a way that actually would have been better, even though it's not necessarily what we would have wanted to do. Alright, so that gets us all of these things. Is that acceptable? Do we want anything else? What does Blue Blast actually do here? Nothing at all. Same with Pyroblast. This can counter some of their pacts. Is that worth it? Is it worth countering their pacts for our, like, surgicals and stuff? How reliably are we getting blue mana is another question. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I suppose. I guess we can get rid of a Shadowspear and a Maze of Ith here. Do we want these blasts? They do seem pretty weak. Maybe we'll just have one and keep the Shadowspear in. This pumps up our construct so it lets us kill slightly quicker sometimes. Getting game 1 versus Oopsal Spell with lands is quite miraculous though. Okay, we have a piece of Graveyard Hate, provided we get a turn. This is fine. We also have an Urza Saga, which can go and get us Graveyard Hate. Our opponent kept a 7-card hand. The chances of us winning this game are about, I don't know, 5-10%. It's pretty low. A 7-card Oops hand into a matchup where they know they can send it pretty easily. Not sending it, okay. That was very much a step 1 for us right there. I will play this Yavimaya. I'll play the Zuran Orb. Maybe we don't need the Zuran Orb. We can probably cut that as well. Alright, our opponent has just had enough. No lands, I guess. Okay, I'll take a win against our bad matchup, even if it was a bit down and dirty. Let's go to round 3. Okay, this is going to give us an opportunity to test out the One Ring, I think. It's a bit slow, though. But we have a Punishing Fire, so we have some interaction. We've got Wasteland, we can fire that off too. Alright, I'm going to give this a whirl. Mainly because I want to test out the One Ring. Mountain. A very pretty mountain. I seem to remember a painter player who liked these mountains. Okay, a Mox is a pretty good place for us to be. I think it's Mox pitching Karakas here. So we can get in this Urza Saga and just start making tokens next turn. It's aggressive, but I like it. We'll eventually get to do One Ring stuff, I'm sure. a mountain. A Pithing Needle. Is this going to name Urza Saga? It does feel like a painted deck here. They have named the Urza Saga. I guess we're not going to get to do that. That's fine. I'll play this one out. I don't think we need to play out the Zero Orb yet. Right, so next turn we get to play the One Ring. We can see how that goes for us. We're not going to crack this in case I think I want a forest off of this, to be honest. These amount of Blood Moons, like, they do look Painter-like because they got the Pithing Needle, but maybe they still have some sort of Blood Moon action. It's probably going to be Fable here, right? It's a Fable. Okay. I think I still get the basic forest. It's just too risky. Maybe that's coward's talk. Let's kill this while we can. So then this turn we get to play the One Ring and hopefully snowball the game, because that's what the One Ring does very effectively. So float off of this. And what do we want? We could get a Mox. We could get a Pithing Needle for Grindstone. Just to cover our bases right there. I think I'm down to do that. So we've got 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana. So I can play the Expiration, then play the Otawara, then the One Ring. Or do I want to keep this as a spell? I think I want to keep this as a potential spell. Alright, let's get some burden on ourselves. I will play out the Zero Orb now. So we shouldn't be getting like snapped off, killed by something spooky, like the Grindstone. There's a Legion Extruder and a Painted Servant. So I think this is the Stompy build with Pyrogoyfs and Furies and stuff like that. This could be another Fable. That'd be pretty solid. Yeah, it's a Fable. So we can bounce this token if we want to. I think step 1 is going to be drawing some additional cards. A Life from the Loam. Wowzers, trousers. That's pretty good. A Crop Rotation. Many options here. I think we want to get this Exploration down. I think that's the first part. We could go and get a Punishing Fire right now. That seems good. Play this out. Float 1 here. We don't have enough to do everything we want to do right now. So if we crop rotate here, we'll have 1 mana floating, a 2nd mana here. So we can kill this guy if that's what we want to do right now. But we don't get to do anything else. That seems acceptable? I think so. We'll buy back our fires. We'll point it at their guy. We could play the Otawara because we can always sacrifice it now we have the Loam. So now we can deploy the Soul Red Lantern if we want to. Take it as Painter, we don't want to be able to access Red Blast to blow up any of our permanents. We can't win with Urza Saga, we have to win with Dark Depths. Dark Depths is very good against Painter, they don't really interact with it. So it will be good once we get there. We have Boseiju, so we can clear this Pithing Needle later on if we find one of those. So we're just eventually going to grind through. Also, some pretty nice Legion Extruder. I've not seen this one before. Where is it? There we go. Pretty cool. Right, so they got rid of a Red Blast. Unlikely to be useful here. Lava Spur Boots. Alright. Are they going to bash us with this guy? They could maybe Pitchcast a Fury and fling a Fury at us. That doesn't seem great. But if they just want to get damage through while they can, I could see it. Soul Guide Lantern. What are you going to take out? My Punishing Fires. Yeah, when I don't have access to gaining life. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, we do have more of them. Let's draw for turn. So we could Life from the Loam, activate the One Ring, and then draw some more. That seems pretty good here. The One Ring means we can just crack this in response to them Soul Guide Lanterning. We'll see if they want us to get these, or they want to nail the Loam. Okay, they want to nail the Loam. Okay, I don't think I care that much. I think the One Ring is our alternative engine. If they want to sacrifice this, so we don't get to Loam. Okay, we have another Exploration. I don't hate that one. Let's get that down. So we can play a bunch of stuff. Do we just want to draw a card here? So we could have used that in response to get the Loam running, but I think just drawing the cards off the One Ring is fine there. We have a Commercial District, so we'll play this. Have a Wasteland. We want this Bojuka Bog. I think we'll take this Bojuka Bog first. Sort out what our opponent's up to over there. And then we can go and deploy one of these Wastelands. So they have the combo here. Let's see what they go for. I would like to equip it to this guy. A Maze of Ith. I don't hate that one. Leave that on top. Right, so we can just Boseiju this Reflection now. Gonna get themselves a mountain. Hard-casted Furies are probably in our future. A Goblin Engineer. Yeah, that's pretty good. They can give this haste and immediately go and put whatever they want in. They're doing a good job of sort of wriggling through the gaps here. Maybe we should have cracked that Solar Lantern to take the Loam. A Legion Extruder. That is not very scary. We're going to have Maze for this next turn. We aren't taking damage, but if we need to, we've got a Zero Orb. They can use this Goblin Engineer every couple of turns to reset Pithing Needle. So they can name the One Ring. We're drawing Maze of Ith and we're drawing 4 more cards. Okay, so this is probably play out Thespian stage. Probably play out another copy of the One Ring, I think, here. Keep ourselves topped off and safe. And then we can make a 20-20 in our opponent's turn and beat them down with it. That seems like an acceptable solution to what's happening here. I'm a little bit worried about this Reflection of Kiki copying the Goblin Engineer, though. That is a little spooky. I don't think we have a good answer that we can find with our crop rotation for that. They're getting a Legion Extruder. Sure. Increments of 2 damage. I don't care about that. We'll keep the untapped one. Okay, our Maze of Ith. Play out this Wasteland, I guess. And pass a turn. Just make a 20-20 in our opponent's turn and win the game. Yeah, One Ring has looked pretty good this game, to be honest. Not really a surprise. We cast the One Ring ahead of curve. It's drawn us many, many cards. We're halfway through our deck at this point. And Urza's Saga. No. Before it gets the ability to make mana. Let's see what they attack with. Nothing, I'm guessing. Yeah, because we have the One Ring protection. So this being tapped is kind of annoying. This being untapped is kind of annoying because they can copy this, get themselves an Ensnaring Bridge. Just crop rotate this Bojuka Bog away. Their list might not have an Ensnaring Bridge, so we might be able to get away with it here. They're copying this guy. Binning off the Painter's Servant there. They're getting back the Painter's Servant. Interesting. I think we should have cracked the One Ring earlier in this chain of events. Card. Shadowspear. Right, it's counted. What I like a copy of? Probably a bridge? Or do we just want another piece of red mana here? So more red mana, maybe. Alright, the Zero Orb tech is going to come in quite clutch here. Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. Let's draw some cards with a One Ring. So we can go again with the crop rotation if we want to. We can deploy the Tabernacle. Deploy another Thespian stage here. I think I would like another copy of the One Ring. Give me a new one. I would like to Zero Orb and gain some life here. Our opponent has 1 card in hand and 1 card off the top of their library. Okay, we can just play this fetch land to have some more life. I don't think they care about having to pay for these. Right, they're pretty low on cards anyway, so it's not like they're going to spend all their mana in a turn unless they have a Fury. Fury doesn't even look that good here. It does a lot of damage, but that's not really the problem our opponent has at the moment. Try and crop rotation. So we get the Dark Depths here. Copy it, make it 20-20. I'll sacrifice this Wasteland while we're still on target. What's this Goblin Engineer going to find? And Ensnaring Bridge. Sure. Draw a card with a One Ring here. So a life from the Loam, getting back our Boseiju wins us the game. Just drawing a Boseiju because we've got another one in the deck still. We don't need to pay for this because it's indestructible. Well, let's go deep into the One Ring well here. A Blast Zone. I do not hate that one. Play these things out. We may as well play out this Exploration. And we may... Do we need to play out the Blast Zone? We want to put the Blast Zone on 2 here, don't we? Just to blow up the Engineers and stop this shenanigans. I think I will deploy this Shadowspear, since we're not blowing it on 1. Sacrifice this Karakas, get up to 6 life. We have 1 more ring in the deck, I believe. Right, I assume they're just paying again here. We can blow this for 3 and take out the copying guy and the bridge. That seems like a strong approach here. I'd like to put 2 counters on this. Just not pay for this because we don't need to. Go to 2 here. A little precarious. But we have so many lands that we can sack. They're relatively cushioned here. Wasteland is not really the one we want. I'll still play it though. We should have drawn for the One Ring first. Our board is very large here. Okay, we have a bunch of stuff that I really like here. So let's play out this Saga. I'd like to activate this one. 1, 2, 3 here. So now they'll copy this. Your Punishing Fires this. Quite an intricate little game this one has been. I can happily sacrifice this Tabernacle and this Wasteland. And, you know, whatever else we need to at the same time. This might be a use Legion Extruder to sacrifice the Ensnaring Bridge for a guy. And try and find an answer to this somehow. I could get back a Painted Servant here. And getting back a Lava Spur Boots. Okay. We have lethal once we equip the Shadowspear to our Merit Liege. This fizzles, this blows up their stuff. Equip this here. Bash for exactly lethal. And yeah, okay. We just need to do that again. Alright, what do we want for this one? I would like some Blue Blast, please. They seem pretty strong here. I think the Force of Vigors also look good, as does the Kozilek's Return. Surgicals are okay. I don't think I want to bring in loads and loads and loads of things. Let's take a big chunk of these lands and put them over here so I can see all my cards at once. And what are we getting rid of? The Karakas is no good, so we don't need that one. We do want the Bojuka Bog and the Blast Zone. We want our Depths combo. Like, they're probably bringing in Blood Moon. So we definitely need to be aware of that one. Pithing Needle was good. The Zero Orb was pretty good in the sort of tradey sort of matchup here. Wasteland is an interesting one because we want to be able to Wasteland their Urza Sagas. So I think we have to keep it in. Otawara bouncing a One Ring is pretty good. Sorry, not One Ring, a Ensnaring Bridge to swing for lethal. Don't know how we're supposed to sideboard here. Like, our deck seems really good at what it's doing already. How are we supposed to improve this? We can get a Force of Vigor here. I think we need to put these 4 cards in. So we need to find a few more cuts here. Do we need the Zero Orb? Kind of felt like we did. Maybe that was just that one game showing us more. But I think under Blood Moon, we're going to be relying on the One Ring more, which makes Zero Orb better. How many Dark Depths are we running? We could trim 1 Dark Depths and worry about winning later on. Maybe trim a Maze of Ith. That's not necessarily what this game is about. How useful is the Tabernacle? If they get like a really wide board that's annoying, this can definitely be useful, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Take out a Thespian stage. We got 3, maybe we only need 2. I don't really want to take out any more lands at this point though. I think the One Ring is very good. Oh, okay, this is 61 actually. So let's submit this and see how this fares. The Grafdigger's Cage doesn't really work. It stops him getting Painter out the graveyard, but it doesn't stop him getting everything else. It only cares about creatures. I like the Blue Blast. I don't really like the rest of what this hand is offering. Like the Boseiju is pretty good as well, actually. Alright, we'll keep this one. Again, we're going to be testing the One Ring. We'll hopefully find something for this Blue Blast down the stretch. Our opponent's mulligan to 5, so having a Boseiju and this Tabernacle might be pretty good. Just see how this one transpires. But we have 4 mana and the One Ring, so I will take that. It's might be one of those situations where having the 3rd colour actually ends up biting us. Just another one of these beautiful mountains. A Life from the Loam. Okay, happy to see that one. I think I will deploy a Grove of the Burnwillows. This can threaten a crop rotation potentially. City Traders. Are we going to see a Blood Moon here? Or is it just a Fable? It's a Legion Extruder. Okay. I'm not sure this is very good against us, just generally speaking. Pithing Needle. What are they going to name here? The One Ring, I would assume. But we can Boseiju this. I don't know if they run... I think this build runs the One Ring itself. So it's kind of an interesting one if you do want to name it. They've named Wasteland. Okay. You show me what you're worried about, opponents. So we could just get this Life from the Loam running now, or we could just hold up this Punishing Fire, which I think is what I would like to do. If we just answer every one of our opponent's creatures, then we're probably in a good spot. A Goblin Engineer. Sure. I would very much like to destroy this one. So this is definitely a matchup where the Punishing Fire is going to feel really good. If we draw a Wasteland, we can hit this, but then they get a land off of it, so it's kind of like whatever, really. We got anything with this 1 mana here? They got some little booties or something? No, the mana goes unspent. I will Punishing Fire this at end step. Goodbye, enemy creature. Bojuka Bog. Is now the time to Bojuka Bog, or is now the time to play another Grove of the Burnwillows? I think it's a time to play another Grove of the Burnwillows, if I'm being honest. But Bojuka Bog means that we can go into the One Ring easier. I'm going to play the Bojuka Bog and just get rid of this Phyrexian Dragon Engine. That is a good card advantage machine for our opponent. We're grinding today. Mishra's Research Desk. Okay. But next turn we drop the One Ring and then we just snowball from there. They have a copy of the One Ring there. Until the end of their next turn they can cast that one. Alright, so let's get back our Punishing Fires here. So I could play this Boseiju as a land. I don't really want to do that though. Just get our One Ring down. 2 explorations. That's a pretty good thing to have when we have the One Ring burning. So they're going to do this, play the One Ring, and then we're just going to be dueling One Rings, I think. They have a sack outlet for theirs. We'll obviously find one. Like, the One Ring always finds other One Rings. It's not the most flavorful design in the world to me. Alright, so let's make an exploration here. Play this. We kind of don't want to use this to play our thing, do we? This, play out the other exploration. So we have Blue Blast. We can play out the Tabernacle if we want to. I guess we might as well at this point, right? Let's get out of our hand. And yeah, I think that's about where we need to be for now. So we can go get our Tropical Island, Blue Blast something. Our opponent is unlikely to see that coming. This is going to be a really weird game where we both have access to enormous amounts of cards. Hopefully our explorations mean that we get to deploy a lot more stuff than our opponent does. A Legion Extruder. This is not worth my Blue Blast. Let's crack the One Ring here. We've got Dark Depths over there. This gives us a 20/20 next turn. We can deploy this exploration. We have a Punishing Fire to deal the final points of damage to our opponent. I think we'll crack this for a Tropical Island now. Do I want to Life from Loam back this one land? I don't think so. Alright, the One Ring is doing its stuff over there for them. Will they get into their combo before we get into ours? We can Boseiju away part of their combo, which is uncounterable to a Pyroblast. So I feel relatively safe on that front. If we make our Dark Depths first, then it only costs us 1 green mana. We don't have to pay the colorless. I think our opponent's going to have something pretty good to wiggle out of this one. It's certainly possible. The painted deck is incredibly tricksy. I'm feeling like I'm happy with our spot here. A Goblin Engineer. This feels like the sort of thing that I should be blue blasting. Ancient Tomb. A Blood Moon. I will target this. Alright, and we win the match. Cool. Yeah. Again, we just ground through our opponent. This is the sort of deck we want. We don't want the combo decks that go underneath us like Oops or spells that we did somehow manage to beat. But yeah, 3 rounds in. 3 rounds won. Let's go to round 4. Yeah, this hand looks pretty good to me. I will keep this one. I'm playing against the Wario of Bosch and Roll of Island Ponder Scoop. Very good. So we got Mox Diamond. Probably getting rid of this Tabernacle, I would imagine. We're just getting Tomb straight away. Thought seized. Okay, let's see what's happened. They can't take away both of our engines. Took the One Ring. Sure. Giving them the fear. Let's Grove. I'll play out this Mox. See if they counter it or not. They did not. Okay. Let's loan back this Tabernacle. Now our opponent might just go Entomb, reanimate this turn, and things are going to get a bit tricky. We do have a Karakas, which can deal with some of them, but if they're entombing, they're going to get Archon, and this doesn't deal with them. So we're going to be having to Life from Loam into the right stuff at the right time here. A Ponder, okay. We're not getting Entomb reanimated unless there's some sort of Dark Ritual. Generally speaking, you don't see the acceleration from the blue-black reanimated decks, but there are certainly people who have taken that deck and gone more into the reanimator with it with some fast mana. There's also a lot of black reanimator which can have a start that looks like this because they run the blue for show and tell out the sideboard. I think that's like the 5th most played deck in the format. The 5th most top 8s in online challenges, I think, is the black reanimator builds. Some of them are Golgari, some of them are Rakdos, some are Grixis. But they're all fundamentally the same, just tweaking with some different like B plans for the most part. Tell a lie, it's the 4th most current deck in online top 8s. I just checked. I did not shuffle off their Ponder. I will dredge from Life from Loam. Here's what we do. We probably want to play around a Daze here. Or we could Wasteland them. And then buy back the Wasteland as well. And that plays around Daze. That seems pretty good. 1, 2, 3. Let's put our opponent in the dirt where we want them. Now their deck probably has relatively good access to a basic. I doubt they're running Law and Reveal, but they have a bunch of fetches and they will have a basic island. And they can operate off of basics, and we're not running Ghost Quarter in our list, so we can't just strip all of our opponent's permanents. Which makes me sad. I like to do that with lands. But there's only so much I could fit into this build, and we sort of adapted an existing build rather than build it right from scratch. We're going to lose our... Oh no, they're targeting themselves. Okay, so they're getting rid of the Archon of Cruelty there. And then they're going to reanimate it. What is our solution to Archon of Cruelty? It is probably... What is our solution? It's probably Otawara. Let me just check our list. Is Otawara the only thing we have here that answers it? Certainly looks that way. Or making a 2020. Okay, which means we're probably going for the dredging plan here. It's because our 3 looks at Otawara every turn. Okay. I would like to life from Loam back these permanents. We can't afford to play around the days here. We just have to make them use it. Maybe that's a mistake, but they're going to have it at some point. But we have to play the Maze of Ith here, otherwise we die in 2 hits. So we need the extra time it buys us. I don't believe they even play out their Underground Sea. Maybe we're just not supposed to play the Loam, but if they don't counter it, then that's pretty handy for us. We do need to eventually get through the counter spells. Okay. Let's get rid of the Tabernacle, because we don't have any access around our Tabernacle here, do we? We can't strip this swamp because we don't have Ghost Quarters. So that would be an answer in some other builds of lands. And the white builds of lands having removal that deals with this, things like Source to Plowshares, it's pretty good. Okay, so draw another land. They're going to go get their basic island here. There is a Ponder. So this is drawing them a card every turn and taking one of our cards and dealing us 3 damage. So it's a lot to get through. And if we can pop it back into their hand with an Otawara, that still might not be good enough, because they're accruing so much advantage from this every turn. But we got some Graveyard hit in the sideboard. And I think we don't care about our opponent's fair plan at all. As long as we can beat the Graveyard plan, we should be fine in games 2 and 3. Alright, let's keep dredging until we find his Otawara, shall we? We did not find it. We also can't just get this Urza Saga back to get the Expedition map, because that's gone. So that doesn't work for us either. So I think the play here is Tropical Island, and then we do this around a days this time around. So we get a Wasteland, a Saga, and Tabernacle. So the One Ring could buy us some time. We could also work our way towards a 2020, which should be good enough. But we haven't found any of the pieces for that just yet. So it's going to come in. We're going to discard probably the Tabernacle again. Really like to have access to an exploration here. That would really tie the room together. We can get a hit in with a Urza Saga with Shadowspear on it. Barrowgoyf. Well, that's a whole new problem, isn't it? Alright, I guess we're dredging Loam. Not the things we required here. How are we supposed to get through this one? Okay, so I could get the Urza Saga starting to run. It doesn't help us the most. We could just try and wasteland our opponent into Tabernacle, so they never get to commit anything else to the board, and we just have to beat these 2 things. But that doesn't give us the most amount of time. What does the Saga give us? It can give us a 3/3, so it can give us a chump block for a turn, or it can give us some more life. I think the correct play here is the Saga, but I don't feel great about it. So we might as well play out the Shadowspear here. So we're going to take 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're dead on the next turn. So we need to find another maze, and that slows it down a little bit. No, it doesn't actually. We're just dead on the next turn from this as well. Yeah, that is an awkward one. So we're going to lose the Wasteland here to the attack. We can buy back our Punishing Fires. Not that that really helps us out here, because their creatures are massive. Definitely feeling being the red build rather than the white build here. There's a Wasteland. That takes our Maze of Ith out, and then we're dead. Alright, let's go to the sideboard. We basically don't win once this is in play, I think, a lot of the time. Okay, Grafdigger's Cage. Surgical Extractions. These are things I want. Pyroblasts aren't actually that good against our opponent's deck. All their threats tend to be black. Consigned to Memory can sometimes do some stuff, but I'm not overly impressed with it. Punishing Fire can kill some of their little guys. So what can we... Let's move all this stuff over as we keep doing. What is bad here? I don't really like the crop rotation, but I think we have to play it because it's part of our ability to kill our opponent, right? Or stop them from killing us. Do I need to Pithing Needle their wastelands and things? There might come up a situation where that's the case, and it's okay just to have this as a one-off, but I'm a little sketchy on this one. I think we're way better in the Wasteland game than our opponent is. 2 surgical extractions. How do we need to fit these in? Maze of Ith is pretty good still. It's good against a fair plan. I want Karakas to bounce the Atraxa. They might have boarded out the Atraxa because of that, but we just don't necessarily know. We could take out Thespian stage. I don't really like this Tabernacle. Like, sometimes it's going to be good, but our opponent's going to be fetching basics very early doors here. But I guess it's something that we can have that can punish our opponent a little bit. I really wish we had a Ghost Court. Okay, I'll take out 1 crop rotation. So I don't really like it. We could take out 1 ring, I suppose. Do I want the 1 ring or the crop rotation? The crop rotation is part of our plan to stop them just comboing us. How good are the Wastelands? They're fine. They are fine. They're not amazing. Are we... I don't think we're getting rid of the Dark Depths. I think we want to have 2 and 2 as our numbers on that front. We could board out 1 Punishing Fire because we're not trying to kill Punishing Fire-sized creatures that often. That makes sense. Is that true? Harbinger of the Seas. Harbinger of the Seas is a tricky one. Maybe it's the Zuranor that goes. Alright, I didn't think we got time to change that. Make that other change. Okay, I will keep this. I think the play is Urza Saga, Mox Diamond, Pitch Tabernacle, Play Cage, Untap, Loam. Or Saga, depending on whatever we feel is the correct play at the time. You can use this Boseiju as a land. Saga, let's get this rolling. Mox Diamond. Get rid of this Tabernacle, I think is better. Cast this Cage. No graveyard for you. This also pumps our construct. So we're going to start making 3/3s next turn. And they're going to attack us like 5/5s. This is a very quick clock that we've established that also stops our opponent's scariest things. They didn't have a Wasteland, so that's excellent news for us. We would like a land that isn't a Boseiju. Okay, this is a very good draw for us. This means we don't have to give up our Boseiju. We can still use it as a spell if we need to. But now we just get to make a 3/3 and then make a 4/4, and then they both are 5/5s once we go and select something. We can go and find more graveyard hate. We can find Pithing Needles. We can find an expedition map to go and get the Thespian stage. We kind of have a smooth run of it here. If I have a Wasteland this turn, then we only get 1 guy. If they don't Wasteland us this turn, I think they lose. I think it's going to be very hard for them to win. Unless they've got dress downs in there. A Douthie Voidwalker. Sure. That guy is fair. He's not going to beat what we're doing, I don't think. I think we probably just go and get... Like, we're already beating them in the damage race. I think we just get the Shadows, the Soul Guide Lantern and just make sure that we're not getting reanimated upon. Perhaps Dark Depths means we can spike into the Thespian stage next turn. But we're representing 10 power. Our opponent doesn't have the ability to block. These little chip shots for 3 do not matter to me. Barragoyf can be kind of annoying, but we can strip out everything and leave it as a 2/3. So it'll have to chump block at some point. But they're not playing Barragoyf this turn. There's the looming threat of Marit as well. And then we can start just Life from Loam and stuff back. I don't really want this Tabernacle, to be honest with you. A Wasteland, sure. That is too late for what our opponent needed it for. They could Wasteland this and get it off the Douthie Voidwalker later. Is this right? Can you cast it? You may play it. Okay. So they could have 2 Douthie Voidwalkers and eventually make our combo in our own face. So they probably have some answers for constructs like Fatal Pushes. Although, would you keep that many Fatal Pushes in against lands? Not really. Probably looking at things like Powder Keg would be my assumption here. Powder Keg can deal with both of our graveyard removal pieces at the same time, which is something to be aware of. Getting quite a bit of lag. I might restart the client before the last game. Or the last round even. A Wasteland for our opponent's Wasteland. The classic. Alright, let's go to attacks. I'd like to take 10 of the finest damages. I'll play a Wasteland. I'll just hit your mana source here. No point loaming. Just carry on. Just enjoy our 5/5s. So the blue mana gives them dress down as well. That's why I'd rather not hit the Wasteland here. Still holding up this Boseiju if we need it for something. They've got Underground Sea over there. I'm sure they'll put that into play this turn. Alright, let's scoop it up. Do I like our sideboarding? We were going to make a change, weren't we? I think we're going to keep the Punishing Fire in. We're going to get rid of the Zuran Orb. I think that was the one change we wanted to make. This is better against Doughty Voidwalkers, but most notably it kills the Harbinger of the Seas. Alright, I'm happy to jam with this. Okay, what does our hand do? We don't really interfere with the graveyard here. I don't think we can keep a hand that looks like this. Okay, we have a little bit of source here. We can keep this and we can put this Bojuka Bog away so we don't draw it. So this is Tropical Island for the crop rotation. And then we can play the Grow the Burnwillows on turn 2. Having a piece of graveyard hate that gets countered doesn't make me feel the safest in the world, if I'm being perfectly honest with you lovely people out there. Okay, I think we play the Trop. That's the one we care about getting wasted least, I think. And then 2 must at end step. So if we were the white build, we wouldn't be as worried because we could just, you know, have all these plows in our deck instead of these Punishing Fires. No Entomb at end of turn. That fills me with a lot of hope. Alright, as a Saga, it's time for you to enter the game. We could play this Exploration. That takes us off of crop rotation. This is a really interesting choice here. If we're worried about graveyard hate, we could play this Exploration into a Daze. I think we're just going to play the Saga out, actually. So this way we can play a crop rotation around a Daze if we need to. We just need to get our pieces in play, and this works us towards Grafdigger's Cage, which is really good, obviously. Now they will have things like Borrower somewhere in their list. A basic island. A Brainstorm. Very nice. So next turn, we could play the Exploration if we want to. We're going to get a basic Swamp here to shuffle that away. They might do that and then also shuffle a Troll. Use a shuffle with a Troll, and then that might be a thing that they're going to reanimate. Now the question is, are we crop rotationing to stop a Troll of Khazad-dûm entering play? Or is that not what this game is about? Undercity Sewers. I guess we can make that decision when the time comes. I don't really want to just crop rotation here and just completely do nothing. Like, our constructs can beat this if it's reanimated. So we can go and get Shadowspear, we can get some life, start mashing away, and we'll be okay. And we have a bunch of things to deal with Troll, like Maze of Ith, that can just say no to this. So I don't think we fire off a crop rotation if they just go and reanimate this. If it was Animate Dead, it's only a 5/5. We'll have 2 3/3s, and one of them will have a Shadowspear, so it'll be a 4/4 lifelink. So we certainly win that. Okay, so they've kept a land in hand in terms of the sewers. A Doughty Voidwalker. Okay, that's fine. Makes our loams worse, but I think we bordered out 1 copy of loams so we wouldn't get flooded on them in theory. Why would I say that and immediately draw a loam? Every time. Okay, so what are we looking for here? Do I want this Exploration in play more than I want a construct? No. So I think the answer here is that we play something like a Blast Zone here, and then we're just going to make constructs and try and ride them to victory. First one is only a 1/1, so they might have something like a Orcish Bowmaster which could ping it down. We didn't see that in game 2, but it's certainly possible. There's only so many fair threats they can put in their deck though. So we can up this to 2 counters and use it to blow up a Doughty Voidwalker and an Animate Dead at the same time. That is an Animate Dead. We'll take 3, and then I think we just do the Blast Zone play that I spoke of. And this can get us a piece of graveyard interaction. Right, so still got this Undercity Sewers in hand, so I've got 3 real cards in hand. And Entomb. Okay. Don't like that very much. But if they reanimate, we know they don't have forcible blue cards, so we know that our Daze will work here. So we can definitely push through a Daze here. Reanimate. What land are we getting rid of? It's probably just the Tropical Island, isn't it? Let's get rid of this. We have an answer to the Troll in a couple of turns. So let's see what we draw and see if we're making a construct here or not. A Maze of Ith. Okay, I think that means we're making a construct, or are we just floating mana? We can float mana, put it into the Blast Zone. And that makes the most amount of sense. And what do we want here? It's probably Probably just the Grafdigger's Cage, just keep ourselves safe on that front. Okay, so we play this out. So our opponent gets to hit us once with these guys, once more, and then we get to blow up everything. Unless they have a Wasteland. Let's play out this Exploration. Let's put a counter on this. Play a Maze of Ith. And let's pass. So we take out both of our opponent's threats next turn. Graveyard is covered for now. And once we blow these up, we can start doing Life from Loam stuff with an Exploration in play, and that should eventually lead to us winning the game. It's a grind, but we're here for it. Right, there is the Undersea Sewers. We want to see them put something innocuous into the graveyard. Fatal Push, good. Right, so we take 8 here, we go down to 9. Actually, no, we don't take 8, we take less than that because we have the maze. So we only take 3 here. Goodbye, Troll of Khazad-dûm. Stay away. So we go to 14 here. Then we untap, we get to Blast Zone, kill both of their things, and continue on our merry way. So this will go into the graveyard, and then we won't be able to buy it back. This will take basically our whole turn, but that's fine. So they had a Bowmaster or something, they couldn't flash in at the end because we were waiting until their turn to do this. These decks do not run Stifle. I'm not going to play around Stifle. If they have a random Stifle in a flex slot, then fair play to them, you get me. We want them to attack with this rather than getting a card back with it. Let's blow up both these guys. Get out of here, Troll of Khazad-dûm. I don't think they should have attacked with the Downthrough Voidwalker. They could have kept it back and then maybe got a crop rotation for a Wasteland or something. But now we are just sort of in it. In the sort of place we like to be. Be a great time to be doing... Okay, we get to Wasteland our opponent a bunch here. I say, it's going to be a great time to be one-ringing, but I'm happy to have Life from Loam Exploration. Let's get it back. Let's play this. Let's Wasteland our opponent. We can't quite get the third one off here. Let's let them pass with this mana and see what they're doing with it. I think we're just going to play out another Exploration, so next turn we can Wasteland even more. Alright, I think we've officially put our opponent in having a bad time mode. Let's do this Life from Loam Dredge. Let's get back Wasteland, Stage, and Otawara here. Play the Wasteland, let's take out their land. And we can play the Thespian Stage, I guess. Get back these two. Wasteland here. And we'll pass. So what we are trying to avoid here is end of turn, Brazen Borrower, bounce this, untap, Entomb Reanimates. Now they don't have an Archon of Cruelty in their deck, so we do have the Karakas. So we can bounce something. Alright, here is the first part of that problem that we didn't really want to deal with. Our blue source is in exile, so we need a Mox Diamond if we want to ever activate this. This could just be reanimating a Troll. They could reanimate a Downthrough just to shut down our Life from Loam strategy. Alright, they've just had enough, and we get the match. So we played 4 grindy games of Magic the Gathering. We are currently 4-0. I'm really liking this build with the One Ring. It's the first draft, but there's definitely something there. Let's go to the final round and see if we can put that trophy together. We've got a quick Merit Lage with this hand. And we've got a little bit of protection for some graveyard stuff. I'm going to keep this. I don't like the double Mox Diamond, but, you know, we can get there in the end. Urza's Saga. What flavour of Urza's Saga deck is this? Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, we might be in trouble here. I don't believe this is going to be a matchup where we require Maze of Ith to do anything for us. So, if I want to Boseiju our opponent's land, we'd probably play out this Mox. So we probably want to Boseiju away their Lion's Eye Diamond here. I think that is the play. So Lion's Eye Diamond enables them to do things like Echo of Eons, which we really don't want to happen. A snow-covered island, you say? What does that mean? Honestly, not sure. Dark Depth's not tapping for mana here is obviously a pain, but I think we have to keep hold of this plan, because any land gets us a Merit Lage next turn. And this very much looks like we need to race whatever nonsense our opponent is doing. Oh, I've got to restart after the last round, so we are in the lag spiking zone. So what happens when you record too many games of Magic the Gathering in one day. One Ring. Khan the Great Creator. Ugh. I just felt my soul leave my body there. Yikes. Okay, show us how you're going to beat us. Okay, you're just going to blow up our Mox Diamonds. That's fine, I guess. What a horrible punish that was. I want to see a bit more of our opponent's deck. That's the only reason we're going to keep playing. But this game is over. Alright, they're making mana off of this. So they can go and get the One Ring with the Khan and just start ticking up. I would like to see what our opponent's working with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're just going to show us the lattice here and lock us out. So we're not going to get to see very much. Alright, lattice locked. Okay, artifacts you say. I would very much like access to these Force of Vigors. Our opponent didn't show us enough to know what we need in terms of our Graveyard Hate and our Red Blast and stuff. So this is really awkward. We just don't know exactly the tools that we are best at, that we want the most here. I don't think this is going to be a Tabernacle matchup. Like a mono blue Khan deck. Pithing Needle obviously good. I don't think we're going to need Zuran Orb and Shadowspear. I don't think our opponent's pressuring us in that manner. We probably need to keep one of these just for the life gain purposes. I don't know if we need Bojuka Bog and Soul Guide Lantern, but we probably need one of them. So what have we bought ourselves so far? We've got ourselves some Force of Vigors if we just cut through. So I'm not sure about the Punishing Fire here, so trim that. So we've got the Force of Vigors. Do we want some Consigned to Memories? This counts as Khan. That's really important. We can't interact with Khan. I guess Punishing Fires interacts with Khan. So maybe we want that back in. Haven't shown us graveyard stuff, but they have... What would they be doing with Lion's Eye Diamond? They must be doing Echo Beyond. They're blue with Lion's Eye Diamond. They must be. But that's not really something that we care about with our Graveyard Hate. Alright, I'm going to go off the Graveyard Hate so that we can have a Punishing Fire in for the Khan and then also a Consigned to Memory in for the Khan. I would like some more Consigned to Memory, but I don't really like the blue mana in our deck. They will board down on Mox because they have all these Khans. Alright, we'll try something along these lines. Like, we've seen some of what our opponent's up to. Crop rotation. We don't really have an engine. I think we need to do better than this. Alright, I'm down to clown with this. This is pretty solid. We need to decide what goes back here. I think it's probably a Punishing Fire here. This is our only real out to the Khan to start chipping it down though. Maybe it's just one expiration, but double expiration is grace. No, let's just have one expiration. That should be fine. Should be enough. This is going to be a tough matchup. But we got lucky against these spells earlier, so, you know. Can't do it all. Saprazan's scary. Okay, so they might be doing like Hull Breacher type stuff. Boseiju, I would like to as a spell, please, rather than the land. That means we're just playing out this. I would like to be able to life from a Loam here. But that means we have to play the Boseiju as a land if we want to do that. And that isn't really where we should be, given our opponent's deck. Alright, it's awkward. We don't have a way of getting this... Like, we could go in this, but we need to make sure that we don't just get Echo Vions out of the game here. We need to be able to blow up their guy. And putting this into the graveyard, if we're getting Echo Vions or whatever, doesn't actually matter. So we can blow up this Saga in the end step. And that gives us something to life them alone back. Right, Saprazan Scary is up to something over there. A lot of mana in the pool. A Khan, the Great Creator. What's so great about him? What are they getting? Jesus, this is terrible. A Liquid Metal Coating. Okay, I'm going to shoot this guy. And I'm going to rebuy this. We'd like to draw just a land here, please. We did draw a land. It's a pretty good one. So get this Wasteland down. I think we're Punishing Fire this guy. Get out of here, Khan. Nobody wants you. Force of Negation. That's just rude. Okay. So I guess we have to hold up this Boseiju. Like if they're making a construct from here, we don't mind. This is the Liquid Metal Coating, isn't it? Sure. What are they going to get rid of here? They're going after our Grove of the Burnwillows. I guess we want to blow up this Liquid Metal Coating to stop this nonsense from happening every single turn. I doubt they're going to do anything with the mana that we're giving them. They're just going to Khan plus and get rid of our thing. Oh, maybe they will do something. No, okay. They're going to remember to plus the Khan? They did. That's a shame. I was hoping that we distracted them enough by putting the Boseiju down and doing things. Okay, so we can get our Life from the Loam going here. So we could Wasteland, Wasteland. Alright, I think that's what we're doing here. We're Wastelanding. We can Life from the Loam. Force of Will as well. Our opponents just really got it all. They've really got it out for us today. Okay. What is this card going to do? They could minus it to get something, like a 1 ring. Our Yavimaya accidentally helping our opponent out in several ways is kind of upsetting. This has to be the 1 ring, I'm sure of it. I guess they could have like Lattice if they have 4 1 rings in the main. But if they're losing their card, it's got to be for something big that's just going to snowball the game, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could get a Lattice and then play a Khan next turn. That gives us 1 turn to answer them if they've got another Khan. A Tormod's Crypt, so they're just going to get rid of our Loam. Have they got something else as well? Jeez. Our opponent's hand is just non-stop bangers over there. Okay, so we're going to lose our Loam. And then next turn they get to Lattice lock us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Disgusting stuff. Come on, target the Tormod's Crypt. No, they did not target the Tormod's Crypt. Okay, so dredging this does nothing because they just loam it in response to our targeting, so we just have to let that go. A Blast Zone. Does that help us out here? I do not believe it does. I think our opponent just Lattice locks us next turn and we're dead. That is unfortunate. Yeah, our opponent had to have double Khan and double Force to make this work. So I don't feel bad losing to this. Well, I don't feel great losing to it, but GG's opponent. So we finished with a 4-1, which is a very respectable record. We got a bit lucky against Oopsal spells, so I don't mind getting a bit unlucky against the blue Khan deck that sort of stomped us into the ground. What goes around comes around at the end of the day. So let's talk about this list. I think the 1 ring was, this is the thing we're obviously talking about. This is what the deck is trying to showcase today, and I think this was very good for us. We had those games against Painter where we just had so much additional like card advantage. And just having this thing that doesn't care about the graveyard is so strong. The fact that it can find you explorations to keep going and just making all your stuff feels really good. Do we need Zuran Orb? I don't know. It did win us a game because we had the Zuran Orb. So make of that what you will. I love this card. I don't know what it is about me. It's the boomer deep inside that loves this Zuran Orb. But yeah, deck felt pretty solid. I wanted a Ghost Quarter. And I think I would like to try this build without the Punishing Fires. So if we get rid of these Punishing Fires, we probably need to find another cut to get in something like a Swords. But we can probably cut from the lands. So we can probably just cut these 3 Boat Grove, the Burnwillows, and this Taiga, and this Commercial District. Put in a bunch of white sources and just play some plows in there. Because if we're playing the 1 ring, we can actually draw into the plows. Rather than dredging and trying to find some removal that we can dredge. This was good. It did some real work for us, but it wasn't the most incredible thing. I think having Tabernacle and Ghost Quarter so that we can strip all of our opponent's lands gives us a way through. And often the plows are going to do enough. So I'd make some definite tweaks to this next time around. But the list, as a concept, I think works. And I think lands players should stop messing around with Sylvan Library and get some 1 ring in their life. This card is just too good to not be playing, I think. And what's the best way of keeping up with opponents who are doing the 1 ring? Playing your own, probably. So I think lands should be a 1 ring deck. It's only 1 league, but I think conceptually it makes sense to me. Especially the white build. So the green-white builds at the moment tend to run Ancient Tomb in them as well, which makes it even more of a slam dunk to include this card. So yeah, I would definitely try this in a different land shell with like I said, with the other colours. I think if we are going into white, we probably don't need the Otawara anymore, so we can get rid of the Trop as well. So we can just get rid of the... So let's put it into a little pile and show you what I would like to change, shall we? So we get rid of these, this, and these. And that gets us, what, 4 plows probably. And then we get a Lush Portico, a couple of Savannas, maybe 3 Savannas if you want them. Or 2 Savannas and 1 other land, maybe a Ghost Quarter. So we could have Lush Portico, Savannah, Ghost Quarter. So yeah, 4 plows up to here. Savannah, Lush Portico, Ghost Quarter, and then we still have another slot if we want it, which probably should be a white source. And I think that'd be better. Obviously, you have to change the sideboard. Then you don't get the blue blasts, the red blasts or the blue blasts. So we'd be going out of these, and we'd be going into more things like Celestial Purge, maybe Prismatic Ending. That sort of jam is kind of where we'd be hedging instead of this sort of stuff. So that's certainly something to think about. I think Prismatic Ending makes sense when we have the Mox Diamond for coloured mana. We also have a Karakas in here and a Bojuka Bog. So we definitely have little bits and pieces. Oh, sorry, the trop needed to come out here as well. So yeah, so I think I would change these 10 slots and go again. I think this deck was really cool. I think I did a pretty good job of showcasing why the One Ring is good. Now, there are definitely times where it wasn't as amazing as it could have been. And we did get mana screwed in one game quite badly, but we did manage to recover and eventually win that match. But yeah, big fan of this deck. I think this works. And I hope some other people who are really into the lands archetype will do a little bit of extra legwork required to work out what the best build is. But I do think lands should be playing the One Ring. We're not seeing a lot of lands decks doing that well at the moment in Legacy. I think it's got like 2 or 3 top 8s this year so far, which is not great. So maybe the extra juice we need is the One Ring. When loads of people are packing Graveyard Hate, we can just sort of ignore that by having the One Ring. We've got ways of powering it out. So yeah, that is my take on lands and where I think it should be. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and goodbye. If you'd like to support me in the channel, please check out my Patreon. It has a free guide to budget turbo depths as well as 3 tiers of support. A low cost one that enters you into my monthly raffle for a free donation deck on the channel, a mid-tier subscription that gives you access to my detailed turbo depths guide that is updated every month as well as regular articles, and lastly the higher tier gives you all of the above as well as a monthly donation deck for my channel. If you're interested in supporting the channel this way, please check out the link in the description.